guys, welcome back to Jet's Place. I'm here to do a video telling you about my experience with racism. I know there's a lot going on in the world right now. I don't want to forget about George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor, and all of our black people that have lost their lives to police brutality. It's really sad that we still have to go through this in 2020. But I'm glad that our voices are being heard now and people are slowly trying to understand what's happened in the black community. And it only feels right to tell my story of racism right now while everything's going on. Like, I don't want the Black Lives Matter movement to die. It does not need to die. It needs to stay alive. I noticed in the last few days that Black Lives Matter is not trending anymore. And it's still something that needs to be talked about until we make a change. So I've dealt with racism a few times in my life. I grew up in a predominantly white school district, so most of the kids in the school were white. And so I feel like I was automatically stereotyped. And especially when I moved to Georgia, I went to a private school and they were, I don't even know the word. They were very religious. Obviously, it was a private Christian school. And I dealt with racism. I was called the N-word. They were, at that school, this was back in 2008 when Obama was running for president and he actually won. They always spoke against Obama. They never directly said that they didn't like him because he was black, but it was automatically implied. They were against his candidacy. The kids at school were pretty mean to me. I remember I had eczema in my scalp, so when it flaked up, it looked like I had dandruff in my hair. And a lot of kids would tease me do you have lice in your hair, and just being really, really mean. And instead of just treating me a part of everyone, they would automatically stereotype me as far as hey, did you listen to that new Lil Wayne song? It's nothing wrong with Lil Wayne, but the fact that I'm black, you automatically are gonna associate with me with listening to rap music. And I would respond back, no, actually I like Katy Perry. They're like, oh, I didn't think you would like that. And it's just I know it sounds okay, that's not a big deal, but the fact is it's a bias, and we all need to be aware of that. And I remember one particular day I was being picked on and I reacted. It's almost when someone is bullying you, you finally speak up, you finally defend yourself. So I responded and I was angry. I had pissed off tears. You know how you're so angry you cry? That was me in that moment. And then when they saw that I was getting upset, instead of automatically apologizing, they called me Aunt Jemima. If you don't know who Aunt Jemima is, she's the lady off the pancake box. That was not cool. And one guy called me the N-word and I went off. I cussed them out. And it was just a big thing. I was so mad. My teacher didn't even know what to do. And then class was over. That just happened to be the last class of the day. I confronted one of the guys in the hallway and he finally apologized. And the fact that it was just it was so heartbreaking. The fact that I was still having to deal with that. And I was so mad. I went to the car mad. This is in high school, so I didn't have a license or a car yet. So my mom picked me up and I got in the car and she's like, what's wrong with you? Why are you so upset? And I told her what happened. And we went home. I was upset the rest of the day. And my dad and I came to school the next day and we told the principal what happened. And the principal, he called me, he pulled me in his office and I explained to him what happened. And he was like, well, I just talked to them and he said that you cussed them out. he was like, they're at more fault than you are, but our demerit system would suspend you for 3 days and they would just get detention for a week. I'm like, and he was like, but we're just gonna let it go if you both just apologize to each other. And at the end of the day, like, why would them saying racist things to me only merit them to get detention for a week if we had done that? Why a week? And then I would get suspended for 3 days for cussing somebody out. But being somebody making racist comments is only a week of a detention. Like, that is so not cool. That is like not cool, and I felt like that was so backwards. But at the time, I really didn't even fight it, because like my parents were like, we could pull you out of school. I was like, no. I don't want to run from this. I want to continue. I don't want them to think that they won. And then so it was another instance at the same school. Like, this was a private school in Georgia, and so there was this white guy that went to the school. Like, he was like interested in me, and I really wasn't interested in him at first, but we started talking, and I found out that he and I couldn't talk because they didn't believe in interracial dating. I was like, this was like back in 2008, and we're still like stuck on like, we can't be in interracial relationships. We couldn't do it here at this school. It was like, the fact that was still going on was more mind-boggling to me. Because what if he and I did hit it off? What if he and I did really hit it off? We wouldn't be able to date. In 2008, wow, it was crazy. And then I later found out that he tried to get with all of the black girls at school because he felt like being with a black woman was just exotic. And it is, because black girl magic is sitting right here. But you shouldn't want to just be with somebody just because you think it's exotic. You should want to be with somebody because you really love them. And then later on, I found out his family was actually racist. So was it just the fact that he was just trying to rebel, or did he really love black women? And the fact that this was still happening, and it shouldn't have been happening at all, but the fact that it's still happening today is crazy. And also at that school in Georgia, I know I'm kind of all over the place, but I was trying to get my mind right, like recording this video. And also at that school in Georgia, I had a teacher that, like, he was from West Virginia. He said that growing up he was in a clan, but it was a good clan, and they would like get rid of all of the bad people in town. When have you ever heard of a good clan? Please show me that, because I don't see it and I don't get it. And he was the teacher that was always talking about Obama. Like, back in 2008, he would be like, oh, he's sworn in on the Quran. He did this. He's a socialist. He's a communist. And just saying all these negative things. And then also, like, I feel like they should have kept that opinion to themselves, because the comments, just the way they made him sound, where it's just like they just didn't like him because he was black. And that's the thing. And like, they were very vocal. They were very, like, to this day, like, they are the same. Not only was it just racist, because this video was supposed to target racism, but also this school was, they were very like traditional. Like, women couldn't wear pants. You had to wear skirts, and the skirt had to be below the knee. Like, that school, like, just let me know. It showed me another side of America. Like, I felt like I was back in 1955 or the 1960s. It was just really crazy, the fact that some of the things that were done and said at that school, like that nobody could date. And I remember when I moved from Georgia here to Texas, there was this one guy that he picked on me. He was a white guy. He always picked on me. And before I left, he told me, hey, I always had a crush on you. And I really just didn't even know what to say. I was stunned, For the first time in my life, I was speechless. And if you know me, you know I love to just talk and ramble. I just looked at him like, and I just walked out of the door because that was like the last time I saw him. I really didn't even know what to say. Like, and I'm sure that, like, even if he would have confessed that to me early on, that we wouldn't have been able to date. And the fact of the matter is, it's so crazy that a lot of people have probably had to give up people that they've loved because racial injustice, or they felt like their family was going to judge them or criticize them. And it's just really sad that people still have to deal with this. You should be able to love who you love, no matter like the race, the religion, or anything of that matter. Like, no one should have to give up what they love because people are just full of hate. And I was talking to a friend about racism, and I was like, and my friend is white, and I asked him, I was like, what do you think it is that some white people hate black people and other races so bad? I know you're not a racist, but what could you possibly think it is? And he didn't have an answer because he's not like that. And I just think they're jealous. Like, that's the only thing I could possibly think of. Because why else would you hate other races so bad? So you say, Jasmine, why do you think that they're jealous? Well, I think that they're jealous because they don't have like the same features we have. I'm just giving examples here because it's not every white person, but this is what it is, I believe. It's like, if you've noticed that some white people have thinner lips. Well, a lot of black people I know, we naturally have fuller lips. And I was like, okay, well, maybe that's why white people get lip fillers. But the fact is, that's still nothing to be jealous of. So what else could it be? Could it be because black people could do so many different things with their hair? Because I've asked white people, or they've told me, hey, oh, I wish I could wear all those different styles that you wear. Our hair, like, we can only wear our hair curly or straight. Still, there's no reason to be jealous of anybody. So what's the real problem? Is it because, like, we're naturally thick and we have, like, bigger butts? Because, I mean, I see a lot of white people now get Brazilian butt lips. I'm not saying that black people don't get any lip fillers, Brazilian butt lips at all. But I'm just trying to figure out, why are people so racist? Maybe if we could figure out, we could change them. Or they're just set in their ways. Like, what else are we supposed to do? Y'all, this is ridiculous that we're still fighting racism in 2020. Is it because, like, we're naturally tan? Because, I mean, I know that white people like to tan. They want their skin darker. We're naturally tan. Is that it? What is the problem here? Why do you hate us so much? Like, can you give me a valid reason? Because you can't give me one, because there's no reason to hate anybody. There's no place for racism. There should be no place for racism in our hearts. There should be nothing but love in our hearts for other people. And I don't get it, and I'll never understand it, and I'll never understand why black people and not even just black people, the Native Americans, Hispanics, why we're always treated so badly. Why? And then when we finally stand up for ourselves, we're called victims, we're called thugs. Why are you looting? Why are you rioting? Well, I say we helped build this country. We built this country. We didn't help. We built this country. So we have a right to tear it down. Because it was built off the backs of slaves. And when the land was stolen from the Native Americans. Read your history. Because Columbus didn't discover America. He discovered there was people over here. And then they came and they did a hostile takeover. So yes, I agree. Tear it down. And let's rebuild it. Let's try to spread love in our hearts. If you're a racist or you're biased, you need to really do some soul searching, do some research. Why are you so hateful? Why do you hate us so much? I'm so sorry for George Floyd's family, and they're still in my prayers. I hope Breonna Taylor gets justice. I hope they arrest the cops and charge them and convict them. And I hope that the guys that killed Ahmaud Arbery like face life in jail too. Like, this has to end. Like, we're all tired of it. We're so tired of everything that's going on in the world. We just want to be treated equally.